So we're going to be talking about DTF here for the next couple minutes, direct-to-film technology. This is kind of the unicorn of transfer printing in the last 26 years or so that I've been doing this. DTF, direct-to-film, was introduced about 2 years ago in a desktop format and quickly upgraded to commercial, 24-inch and even larger. I'm going to go through a couple of the systems that are available here and then take some questions from you guys at the end. If we just step one step over here. So this is one of the only non-Chinese based solutions. This is a Muto-based printer, Japanese built, that STS Inks had converted to DTF. So we have American-made ink manufactured here. We have probably what is the nicest out-of-the-box experience with DTF. If you look at this machine, there are no buttons on it. It's very hard to hurt it. Okay, the machine is kind of built to where it is cleaning itself. Everything is software driven. So there's not a lot of hands-on maintenance that the client's responsible for. Really what they've done is they invested so much in the firmware and software. They took that Chinese kind of concept of what's going to happen with my machine, they removed it. They made sure that they're touching the machine first. They've got the software, you're set up, and again, out of the box, you're going to be printing, within an hour or two. This is based on an Epson print head. We're using a single head here. So if there was a drawback to this machine, it would be speed. So this machine's going to be good to about 25 to 35 square feet per hour. So it's not slow, it's just not what I would consider commercial printing, hundreds, thousands of transfers per day type of thing. Your cost of consumables is going to stay fairly consistent for all the machines that we talk about. So we're using an ink, we're using a film, and then you'll see in a second the powdering, which kind of is the unicorn process to make that transfer super durable. A system like this, when we're making these transfers, again, film, powder, and adhesive, you're going to be at somewhere between about 55 cents and 90 cents per square foot, depending on how you're buying your supplies, how much cleaning, how much waste, how much ink. Really the least cost-effective, the least expensive way to decorate full color. The unique thing about DTF is for the first time, we really have a transfer process that is meant for any color fabric, any type of fabric, without artwork limitations. White toner and some of these processes come close. I started at Stahl's 26 years ago, so I'm a vinyl heat transfer print cut guy. Print cut is great, but print cut also comes with a lot of labor and a lot of expense. If you're buying a Caesar material, Stahl's material, some of this, again, it's amazing, but you're going to be at somewhere between $2 and $3 a square foot. Plus, there's going to be a lot of touching, a lot of hand. As you look at these technologies, what you were looking at is a process over at the laser, one-step or two-step. Great technology. We can decorate multiple sources, but it's, to me, very expensive per sheet. $3, $4 to decorate something. DTG is not going anywhere. DTG is here to stay. But with DTF coming into the game, DTG now has its own place too. If we think about the steps that are needed for DTG, we have to pre-treat, we have to print, we have to heat, and we have to heat again. The technology in itself is amazing, but it is a 3, 4, 5, 6 minute process to get a shirt done. And we're also talking about costs of anywhere from $2 to $3, maybe even higher depending on the size of the image and the lighting. Again, now when we're going over to DTF, we're talking about a single step, one machine, printing, then all that we have to do is cut that transfer off and apply it. So we're talking about anywhere from a 5-second to 13-second application on the heat press, hot or cold peel, that garment is done. This machine we refer to as the classic, a little more commercial build. We have 2 print heads in here. Okay, what that's going to do is obviously allow us to print faster. We have one print head for CMYK, one print head for white, rather than sharing all those colors in a single print head. So with a machine like this, it's going to allow us to go up to 80, maybe 100 square feet per hour. So almost 2 to 3 times as fast. You can see just by the build of it, a little more of a commercial build to it. Very accessible for print heads, so if we do have to do the surface, if somebody has to fix something, replace a damper, it's very easy to do. They have 3 screws on the print head, there's nothing to move, there's nothing to replace. I'm not a service guy, I'm a sales marketing guy. I can actually get in here and fix a machine, which is saying something for the building machine. The next process after we print is going to be powder. This powder machine's running, so we're going to jump on over here. This is the printer I like to refer to as the Mach. Mach 2, 3, or 4. It's one of the only machines manufactured that's actually upgradable in the field. This particular machine has 2 print heads installed right now. And you can actually see a 3rd capping station there. So we can add a 3rd head to it. Why would we want to add the 3rd head to it? We could add fluorescent colors to it. So we could go CMYK with fluorescence plus white. We could add another channel of white. So as it's printing the white right now, which isn't slow, we could even go faster. If we had 4 print heads in there, we'd be going dual CMYK, dual white. So we went from 30 square feet an hour to 100 square feet an hour. Where if we're running 4 heads on here, we're going to be running 150 square feet or faster per hour. We're actually taking a step up on our build too. When we look at the accessibility of this machine compared to the other 2, you can see everything is open, everything is accessible. Anybody can get to it for cleaning. These machines are near maintenance free, but we're using white ink. Anybody that's using white ink to tell you that you can set it and forget it, they're not telling you the truth. We want to make sure that white ink doesn't dry. The easiest way to be able to do that is to be able to get to our print head and clean it. A machine like this allows us to do that. Some of the other machines that you might see, people may say 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of maintenance a day. To me, that's not bad. A machine like this, you're looking at 2 to 5 minutes of maintenance a day. Why? There's nothing to take off. There's nothing to remove. All we're doing is opening it, examining, looking, wiping down, cleaning. You step to the back of the machine, same thing. Anybody can get in there. You can put a small family underneath there if you wanted to. So the accessibility of the machine, as the print's coming off, the first thing that it's doing is it's printing at CMYK, and in the same pass it's printing white. This is because of the way that we have the print head staggered. This is what makes DTF unique. There's no sucking it back up, there's no going back over those pinch rollers, so it's doing everything right in line. When we move to the commercial grade powder shaker, so what we're doing now is we actually have the PU adhesive powder in here. The commercial grade machine keeps everything nice and clean. You don't have powder flying around. We're not trying to do things by hand. It keeps a level of consistency and professionalism. It also adds a safety factor to things because this is a plastic adhesive. And if you're doing this by hand and it's flying around in your shop, you're going to want to wear gloves and goggles. You know, if you have a commercial machine, you keep everything closed. You can be sure that you, your employees, and everybody's nice and safe. So as it puts the powder down on there, that powder, again, is ensuring the durability, the stretch, and the washability of the transfer. Our clients in the field are reporting 50, 75, 100, 125 washes. In 26 years of doing this, nobody's screaming that for transfers. I mean, that's a screen print type thing, if nothing else, maybe a one color vinyl. But people say, how long does it last? And I have vinyl shirts from 20 years ago. This technology's only been around for 2 years. It lasts at least 2 years. But we'll have lots of them that you can have. For some, we're going to press one, you'll be able to touch it. So as this is coming off again in this commercial grade, there's nobody here. We're not really watching it. You don't want to walk away from it, but you don't necessarily have to babysit either. The powder's going on nice and consistently. It's going through the heating system. All of the vent is going either through our filter. Ideally, in a shop, we want to vent outside. That way, you don't even see any of the smoke at all. We're going up onto a take-up reel, and what we have is, you know, a very durable, high-quality transfer at this point. We can cut these off. We can go over to our heat press and we can press, which is going to be the next thing that we do right now. I'm going to direct everybody back over here to the heat presses. We're going to put a transfer on, and then we'll pass it around for everybody to scratch, sniff, and feel. Let me put one off there for you. You want to do that? We'll do real life. Jay's going to cut a transfer off of there because you can actually see that it came right off the machine. And depending on how you are with your graphics, there's a lot of tools built inside of the software. One of the tools that I like is called one touch breathability. So there's a button in the software where you can actually basically create a perforation pattern from your solid design that breaks it up, almost like you're breaking up the pixels, to create a little bit of air in between the prints so you have a softer printed feel. This is a very nice feel on that. polyester. Again, with DTF, we do not have color limitations. We do not have fabric limitations when it comes to decorating. So there is no free. You can take the transcript and just down press right off the press. I'm on black cotton right now. I'm 315 degrees for 12 seconds. Medium pressure. Polyester, you can go a lot cooler and just for a few seconds if you have a heat sensitive fabric. A lot of the promotional items that like to melt at 300, 350 degrees, those cheap bags and things like that, those are all decoratable now because you can actually apply this stuff with a heat gun if you had to. This particular film that I have in my machine is a cold peel. They do make a hot peel or a universal. I'll probably switch to the hot peel. One of the things is just film consistency coming out of the manufacturers. Cold peel is a proven, tried product. And if you're doing things with a lot of detail on there, small lettering, little spots, you know, if ever in fear, cold peel. I'm going to have a few erasers. So you can press it again if you want. A lot of people really like, one of the big things about DTF, if you're going online and you're seeing some of these guys that are making transfers or machines, is they like to smash it into the fabric as much as possible to have that fabric come back out. That's completely up to you. Just like any other transfer technology out there, depending on the cover sheet that you use for your final press, you can actually change the texture of the image. I'm using Teflon because that's all I have, so there's going to be a little bit of a shine to it. 1, 2, 3 seconds is fine for that last press. And again, that's completely optional. Again, I can print, even on the smaller machine, 100 square feet an hour. So that would be about 100 big transfers. Unlike anything else, I am on and off the press in 30 seconds to a minute.
How do you get the art machine? How do you get the art?
The art? So everything, each of these different machines come with their own RIP software. So that's right in the box. So all you're going to do is take your files as you normally would, you know, and what we would rip them. The one step that's involved with DTF is we add a white layer in the Photoshop or in Illustrator or a Corel. And we have quick plugins for that, of course, and if you don't know how to do it, we teach you how to do it. So again, what we've done now is, in a matter of 1 to 3 minutes total, from print to finish to cut to heat applying, we've made a garment that has no artwork limitations, no fabric limitations, no color limitations, equal or better durability than anything on the transfer floor for a fraction of the price of the alternative decorating technologies compared to embroidery and screen print. Anybody that wants to come up and feel this sample or anything else, at this point, if anybody has any questions, you can come over and direct them to me.